Good day, viewers. It's another week again right here on Eco TV on your favorite platform, the Youth Spotlight. Of course, with your favorite host, Kadi Drama. As we always do it, every week we profile one young Gambian youth that is doing extremely well in order to improve or to take part in national development. And as always, I will tell you, every day we bring you guests that I wouldn't say more important than the other, but then I guess that is also doing his or her part in national development. And of course, today, with the recent crisis revolving around NAVEC, as you see, we have left our studios for you. Now we are everywhere just to make sure that these programs are on. But then, we decided to bring you one person, someone that is no stranger to the entire Gambian youth and the entire Gambia at large, I will say, because he's the backbone of, as his spokesperson will say, the spokesperson of the masses. Then I will call him the SG of the masses. No other person than Omar Sanyang, the Secretary General of Gala. And Omar, thank you so very much for honoring this invitation. We are glad to have you here. And of course, Omar will be joining us today on this show to tell us about his journey as an activist in this country and some of the challenges that they are facing recently with regards to the power shortage and water, what they are doing to make sure that accountability is a must in this country. So Omar, you can introduce yourself to the viewers and just a hi. I know they have already known you, but a hi on you.
Thank you very much, Khadija and the Eco TV. I'm glad to be here. And once again, I am Omar Sanyang, General Secretary, Gambian Sergeants Looted Assets.
Thank you so very much. And then, as he mentioned, Secretary General, Gambian, again, you looted asset. And we have seen that since your existence as an anti-corrupt movement till date, you guys have really done tremendous efforts in making sure that corruption is being combated. But then, as a Secretary General, today we will want to know, what is it like working with people? How has this role been to you?
So basically, it is the most difficult role as far as organizations are concerned. Okay, people might be like, okay, maybe the national coordinator is doing a lot of work, but basically anything that has to do with the administration of the movement solely relies on my shoulder as General Secretary. So it's one of the most difficult, but also one of the most engaging positions as far as Gala is concerned. And yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I'm happy to be Secretary General.
Okay, I think the masses are happy that they have you as Secretary General. And as you said, personally, I know what is it like to be acting as a Secretary General in any organization. So we can tell how difficult it might be and how engaging it is for you. But then we thank you for taking up the role and doing extremely well, because I'm sure the results are out there for us to see. But then, as you said, Gala is formed, as you said, Gambians Against Looted Asset. It came along. It's a history that everyone knows here, but then take us through as to how it came about, and then tell us, what is corruption to you? Is it, as you, young people in this country will deem it as, corruption is just with politicians, but you that is working with young people, you that is working with people, youths in this country, what do you think corruption is? Is it just with politicians, or are we the youths also part of the system that is corrupt?
So thank you very much. I will first start with the rundown of how the movement came into being. So the movement came sometime last year. I think May 8th was the day that the movement was inaugurated, although we were arrested and the usual thing happened. But May 8, 2025, Gambians rise to demand for accountability for the sales and then the disposals of Jammeh's assets. So this investigation came when the Republic, Mustafa Suwandi Dabo, published a report or an investigation report about the sales and the disposals of Jammeh's assets. So people were agitated, people were angry that people are stealing away our future from us. So that being the case, we deem it necessary to go out and demand for accountability and also transparency. And our demands were very simple. Tell us who bought the assets, how much do they buy it for, and where was the auctioning done. It was very simple. But we were arrested. That was the first arrest as a movement. And we were taken to various police stations. And one thing that stood out was the Gambian people came in their large numbers, not to only demand for our release, but to also continue from where we stopped. So from there, we have seen the government and the president addressing the nation, even though people might critique what he said, but it was a step towards the right direction when he addressed the general public. And part of our demands was for the National Assembly to have an investigation, a special select committee on sales and disposals of Jammeh's assets. Just recently, while we were in Tanzania, the results were out, the report of the investigation, but simply because we were also overwhelmed with NAWEC and everything, we could not deal with the report. But there's a promise to the Gambian people. We are going to do, now that we have given NAWEC a 10 days ultimatum, before the 10 days elapse, we will obviously work on the report and also tell the Gambian people what the report entails and what are going to be our stance on the sales and the disposals of
Inshallah. I'm sure the Gambians are waiting on that, because credibility is one thing that people are due to what they do, not based on how long they stay. And that is one thing that your movement have achieved. People trust in you and what you say. So then they will be willing and ready to see what is your take on the report. So then we will be listening keenly, and then we will also do our own findings on them. But then we'll be waiting on the masses also. Anyways, but then thank you so very much for that breakdown. And tell us, as I said, corruption after the looted asset, that is what brought the movement. But we have seen that it didn't just stop there. You guys continue to monitor or supervise. Sometimes people will call it witch hunt. I don't know how you take that, witch hunting with the government. But I think it's good. We need fourth estates to check on the government, even though journalism is doing its part on it. But then we need activists also. But then how do you think corruption is within the Gambian landscape? Is it just most people, if you talk about corruption in our local setting, they will tell you politician all along, well, government long and all that. Is it for you, since you start this engagement with youths, what is your stand on it as a fact that you are seeing? Is it basically just politicians or youths? Where is corruption actually coming from in this country?
Yeah, so thank you very much. The corruption, it's now normalized in this country.
Okay.
Corruption, it's now a tradition. Someone is corrupt and nothing is going to come out of it. That was the order of the day. And society has a lot of expectations on people that are working in government sectors, for instance. If you are minister today or permanent secretary today, society's expectations is going to be like before Sangababa.
Yeah.
We want her to be driving luxurious cars, changing vehicles and traveling and having utility vehicles at home, transforming the whole compound into a modern house. That is what the society expects from you. So first, corruption does not only start with the government. Corruption, to some extent, has to do with the mindset of the Gambian people, the mindset of the people. How do they think towards this specific thing? So that is one thing that this country has been facing for quite a lot of time, that more often than not, people perceive that people that are serving them should be living a luxurious life. And if the society's expectation is high, you as an individual will do everything within your powers to make sure that you do not let down the society's expectation. Because at the end of the day, what is going to be the say of the society? Kari Waterfield and DJ Waterfield, he has been minister for the past 1 year or 2 years, but he cannot still build something solid for his people. So there, society will be like, okay, DJ Waterfield. But that is not the case. So now it is the responsibility of the government to make people understand that those that are working are not greater or bigger than you. Instead, they are your servants. These people are at your service. But the problem is that is simply because the narrative that happened since 1965 to date, that people or ministers are expected to do big things in their compounds, in their families. That they will be corrupt from this. If you are corrupt during Jawara's time, if you are corrupt in the Ministry of Lands, he's going to reshuffle you and take you to Ministry of Agriculture, for instance. And society's expectation there will be like, okay, he's minister and he's doing all these things. So corruption is not only with the politicians. Corruption starts from the grassroots level. Corruption starts from our family. Because of their expectations, they're now forcing us to loot from the material resources of the Gambian people to make sure that we benefit ourselves from those resources. So Amanga coming, because you are a politician, not all politicians are corrupt, for instance. But now the reason why the focus of the movement is on them It's because the Gambian people voted for them to render essential services for the Gambian people. The reason why Molka Katrefayo, even though I don't like calling the term Katrefayo, but it's because every year, and if you are working class, every month you pay tax. And we pay all those taxes simply because we want the government to do something for us in return. And what is that thing? It's rendering essential services, that is water, electricity, our daily life. Those things are not compromised. You cannot compromise with those things. And another thing is protection, security. You know, the Gambians and residents of the Gambia should be protected by the state. Those are reasons why we vote for government. Infrastructure, our livelihood. You know. So sometimes we think we are poor simply because God wants us to be poor. You know, that is not the reality. You know, we are not children of a lesser God. Okay. We serve the same God as the people of America, the people of London, or anywhere you can call. No, they have built huge infrastructure not because they serving a greater God than our God. So what went wrong? Sometimes we bring God in places that it does not exist. Because you cannot tell me a country that solely relies on loans and grants, it's because of God that is why you are poor. God never asked you to go and ask for loan. I mean, you need to be content with what you have. Make sure that you invest in your economy. Gambia is not poor. We have a river, we have lands, agriculture, rain. You go to Jakal Pazar, they have water 12 months a year, almost a whole year they have water. But what are they doing to make sure that the Gambian people feed from their own resources? So now you cannot tell me because we are poor, because God wanted us to be poor. So that is not the case. The problem is we have bad governance, people are corrupt, and they are unapologetic about their corruption, and people will even go to an extent of defending those that are corrupt. You know? So now corruption is from the grassroots to the politician and even sympathizers to those politicians. Because you go out, when you talk about the Gambian government, you have thousands of people that are going to, you know, defend what the Gambian government is doing in corruption issues. And they will know basically that their life is no more better than my life. In fact, some of the people that defend the current government, what I can afford, they cannot afford that, for instance. So, but because they feel based on certain reasons, they have to back the government. So corruption is from the grassroots, just like I said, to the politicians, then to the sympathizers of the government.
Well, that's a lot, but I think just as I am getting it, so viewers down there are getting through what Omar is saying. And as he mentioned, corruption doesn't just stop at politicians. It starts at the grassroots, like our families. The expectations that we have from politicians or people that are serving public offices could lead to some of these behaviors that we see from them. Because you cannot expect, come like Afanyame, minister just now, yeah, expect recently. So mbako do nyumban lamintul. Nena salary ma amit no, then be mo loko tala ngake produram kana to doya mo ko ne ba fala minato kay barakanta yalo abijam fa wada jamon kuke. So it's also something that I believe contribute a lot to it, as you mentioned, and thank you so very much for that breakdown. And as I will say, Gala is a household name now, and I've listened to most of you and I've seen a lot of things that you guys did, but today I want to know what will you term as one of your biggest achievements as an individual or as the association or since your existence today? What is one thing that stood out after all that you have did? Because what is it you achieve? Because at the end of the day, I think your parents are one of the strongest people that I will say, because every day but still so even though we have all of that at stake, what is it that you will look at beating after everything?
So almost all the arrests really worth it, no? Because I cannot specifically singularly pick this is the greatest achievement of Gala. But let's say young people rise and they demand for something. The following day, the president address the nation on that specific thing.
Big.
That is huge.
Considering your president could go mute the whole time.
Yeah, and the president will address that thing. And another thing is the National Assembly forming a select committee on the sales and the disposals of Jammeh's assets.
Yeah.
That is basically the same thing that we were fighting.
Yeah.
No? And the parliament invited us down there in the parliament to have a discussion with them on the sales and the disposals of damaged assets and how we want things to be done. So I mean, going back and forth, that just like I said, it's going to be difficult for us to single-handed. Okay, just like we are Gambia Police Force now. Everything that happened,
emergency center.
Everything that happened. Gala will be the first point of contact for the Gambian people. So that alone is enough for us. So anything that happened, I remember during Usainu Bojang's case, when he was accused and the court arrested him. After that, someone called him and told me, I have a friend in Mile 2. This is what he did, but the state is doing this, so I want Gala to only issue a state. I was like, I'm a Gambia Police Force. But okay, it's simply because Gambian people had their trust, and they trust us so badly that they now have to report incidents or cases that they feel like the thing that happened in Brikama, when the young man was killed. People reach out to me personally that this is what happened and we want Gala to take a step about it. Some cases are civil cases. The only thing we can do is to sensitize them, and also show them the way. What happened in Mandinaring, the state was involved in killing a young man. That is why we stepped in. What happened in Brufut, the same thing. The state was responsible in unlawfully arresting somebody that has been accused by the court. Now, it's no more a civil matter. It is between the state and that particular individual. So there we can chip in. But civil matters are going to be very difficult. So we can only advise them on what to do, but we cannot sue. So we have achieved a lot of things, and I think all the arrests that happened, apart from the May 8 arrest that was really unnecessary, but the state will obviously do what they are best at doing, that is arresting us and keeping us behind bars. But anytime that they do that, they add more pressure. You go to the police now, the IGP will tell us, if you come here, don't even seek for an appointment. Come straight to my office. Now that they want to dialogue, and we also want to be at the defensive side of it. So we have achieved great things, and that is still not enough. We want a better Gambia, and we are on that.
Sure. I'm sure we will one day get the better Gambia that we are all seeking for. But as you said, the arrests are worth it. But then, arrests are worth it. Omar, how many times have you been arrested?
Like 4. Yeah.
So one will think, I won't say that, because actually I'm a Jahanka. So when I saw Aliu is actually my person. I think it's because of the fact that he is a fuller. I will be like, he's very unapologetic about what he does and how he go about things. So I'll be like, so I'll be like, okay, na Jahanka ya manen sambaje. But then anyways, as I will say, if arrest will have killed some spirit, will have let some people step back, because history won't lie. We will have seen people talk about corruption, talk bad about government, criticize, but once they are being detained at police station, the next day they talk different thing. So at some point we were expecting the same from you guys. The first arrest, we were like, I will be seated around, because I don't have to involve myself in every conversation, but you will hear some will be like, so we expected regular after arresting. So why you came out as Albosan Jose Loldo, being more energized? That is what I see personally. And then after every arrest, you guys come out stronger again. So what is the spirit there?
I mean, the spirit is the bigger picture that there is better Gambia. And I mean, I said this somewhere, and I will say it here today, that anytime you arrest us, most especially something new, you have created a fighter that will never relent. For instance, Pato has been arrested recently. And he made it very clear that he's never going to run from the police. No? Even if it is gone, he's not going to run. And we have seen series of those people that were arrested, and they never relent on the fight. So it's like, if you're arresting us, you're giving us more committed members. Anytime you arrest us, you arrest someone new, he's always going to be arrested again. So I don't know whether there is this thing in the cell that nobody wants to stay away from it. But anytime you arrest someone that is new, know that the next arrest the person is going to be there. So that is to say, you are creating more committed individuals to fight for the cause than you know it. So maybe to them, okay, we are intimidating them. Let's arrest them, keep them behind bars. and they are going to be, when they are out, everything is going to get cool. But they know it. Also now they know very well that you arrest us, you take us to court or everything, we are going to, and now we'll be at the police station and denying police bail.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so we will deny police bail while behind bars.
Okay.
That is to tell you that we don't really care about your system. No? So you take us to court, so the court will grant us bail and we'll go home. In fact, before we go home, we have a meeting somewhere else and we are home. The following day we are out to talk about certain things or certain pressing issues in the country. So basically that is to say that arrest will be used as an intimidation tactic for us, but it does not intimidate us. Maybe they should think of another intimidation tactic, but arrest it's out of it. Okay. We have been to Mile 2. Okay. We have been there. So we know what is we know what is there. So people have been, people have been in police cells, in one of the worst police cells here in Koto police station. With no ventilation and everything. But still you are out, you are more committed to fight. So even if they arrest you and take you back to Koti police station, it becomes a normal routine for you. Just because we have seen a better Gambia and we have seen a bigger picture, arrests and courts cannot be used as an intimidation tactic to intimidate us.
I think personally I will agree that you guys have passed arrest still. Because mommy and I arrest nani mari hani say iko hani. Oto mari tamida arrest. But then as I will say, come because kafa ko ite yeah tactic doji. I don't think that is a better thing. I think in as much you guys have the right to assemble, they should also provide security and we dialogue over issues. Because someone will say, but I think at the end of the day, we all want to be seated at home, enjoying the Gambia that we want, like the Gambia that we want to see. So if for that to come, we all need to agree at some point. Let everyone exercise their rights as it is enshrined in the Constitution. I think that is what is best. So next on, we will talk about the most pressing issue. I think this is my own personal issue. On every show, I will talk about Nawek. Because so anyways, recently, we've seen that you guys went on a peaceful protest and then you submitted a petition to the MD of NAWEC and also to the Ministry of Petroleum. And then they will read the entire thing and it will be like signed by Omar Sanya, Secretary General. And I'll be like, Omar Brava Jinsan Kabi Miraka Minallah. But Omar Kadar Taylor. So we have seen that the petition has been given on 4 days month for 5. I'm at 4
it was on a Friday and today is Tuesday.
Okay, 4 days started.
10 working days.
So I heard somewhere the president saying current is back to normal, but I'm so you guys could help us with that. Because outside of the studio set recording is take time because studio recording without the light. So but then with that, after the 10 working days that you have given to them, what is the next step?
So after the 10 working days, we want electricity to be restored. So if it is not restored, we use the usual thing, heading out to the streets and protest again, Okay. But just right now, as I am sitting here, now I wrote to the government for them to, empower or also approve for them to go back to Senelec and have a conversation about restoring the electricity. So it's like they're sitting on a hot soup.
Yeah.
So they are working tirelessly to make sure before the 10 days elapses, electricity is restored. I will meet with some other people on the cities who will be like, Nawek is a bit better now in my area. I don't know, because I don't normally know the usual schedule, But people are now saying that it has been better.
Personally at home, I think Ndolia saying because I enjoy casino. But once I reach here today,
it's gone. So that is it. So we are also monitoring and we are also paying attention that within the 10 days we want to see at least improvements, and also even not improvements in totality, but we want them to give us something concrete that within this specific time electricity is going to be restored. But 10 days ultimatum, it's uncompromised. If they do not show us or they do not tell us anything that is concrete enough for us to rely on, we are going to use the normal thing, that is heading back to the streets and protest, because that is the only language that they understand. So
Okay then, because that's the only language they understand, and I will say the only language that I understand is dialogue because no dia mo kan dafa ndio da maneno. But anyways, we have seen that even with that, some people were telling me 10 days more jam fatal, but then ngamunya 10 days but then even with that, everything that you do, you might the people that praise you on what you do. They think that it is brave enough for people to do it because not every one of us could run to the street, risk being arrested and all that. But you guys are doing this. So even if it is not said always, there are people that admire what you do. But then there are also critics in whatever one do. Recently, after the protests with regards to Nawek, we have seen a lot of criticisms online. There are people that will say, you guys were celebrating, you were dancing, you were that. And then I will say, personally, I think you are the artist there. And I think that is one thing that I know about you. First of all, I will be like, Jumala Kadenkilo Laminga, cause we're a fighter. I never find out it's you. But then listening to it, you will, someone that understands what you're saying will understand that you are not just singing for entertainment. But what do you have to say to, if you tell my mom that your video probably she will believe that. So what do you have to say to people that think that Albe celebration will on this critical issue?
Yeah, so advocacy everywhere, let's say protest, it's backed by ambience. Okay. No? Yeah. When you look around, I think because the civic awareness of Gambian people is still below, but there is nothing wrong with protesters dancing. Most especially if they are dancing to a tune that energizes you. For instance, the number in the light by Bright Star. It's okay, we're talking about the same thing, and the song is also saying the same thing. No? So if we dance through that tune, that doesn't necessarily mean that we are happy. So it becomes a problem in this country. It's good for them to criticize people because the criticisms will help us in whatsoever that we do. But if we have to criticize, we criticize constructively. Okay. But okay, people might have problem with dancing. Okay, they are dancing, they are very happy. Maybe light is in their house, or maybe they are just doing this for fun. But there is nothing wrong. When you look at the ANC, the EFF, the Contour Sizwe, you go to other parts of the country or the other parts of the continent, protesters dance. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are not agitated. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are not sending out a message. But if dancing becomes a problem for you, okay, that might be a personal problem. But simply because they are talking about something they should not dance, I mean, that is still subjected to a debate. So it's good for our critics to continue criticizing us because it's because of their criticism that is why we are here today. We are better because we are not perfect. Yeah. We have made some errors along the way as human beings. But because of those criticisms, we improve and also take responsibilities of those things that we have done. So we are human. We make mistakes. You criticize us. We take your criticisms and put them into action, and we are there.
Sure. Yeah. Just as he mentioned, not just because they are dancing or singing, that doesn't mean that they are happy. And I think that energized each and everyone that was there, because considering the distance, just walking like that without doing anything might be hectic. But with the ambience, I think it will make it a lot easier for all the protesters also. But everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion. But then, Omar, we are running out of time. And then Nawek is not Naweking at all. You are sweating already. So just in a few seconds, just any final words that you have for Gambian youths out there, anyone that thinks they want to speak up or join whatever it is that you are doing, but then they fear the consequences that might come after it. Because I think accountability is what we lack at most cases. Because kunai kalinga wa kom ini be murundi la kumo kan imari nyanta lula mat. But then Gambia no silata wala kom nganying ke molbe mo fala ikemira wala bake. So what is it that you can tell to every youth or every Gambian down there, as in this critical period that we are in and all that is going on in this country? What is it that they can do to speak up in order to improve national development? And what is it that is keeping you going, as you are just human as them? So there is no difference, I guess. I will be like you when I grow up. When I grow up.
Basically, it's Gambians have to know that their destiny lies in their own hands. We all belong to different faiths, whether you are Muslim or Christian. Those are the majority in this country. But we have to understand that if you are a Muslim, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not come down to save you. In this situation that you are in, if you are a Christian, Jesus Christ will not save you. You must be the architect of your own destiny. So if you want a proper government or a proper state, you must be able to speak truth to power unapologetically. We are not asking, or we are not forcing anybody to hit the streets as we do. But if there are other means that you can do to hold the government accountable, if you feel the government are not doing or they are punching below their weight, now it is your responsibility as a citizen to hold them to account. So let us all be vigilant and hold our governments accountable. And let us all know that our destiny solely relies on our hand. If we mess it up, we are messing up with our future. If we kill it, we kill our future. So we are the owners and we are the architect of our destiny.
Thank you so very much, Amar Sanyang, as I will say, SG of the masses. We honor this session with you. We are so glad that you're able to make it through here. And to our viewers down there, as we have gone through what Amar will say. So after everything, you will realize the resilience and believing in yourself is what will get you what you want to do. So as every youth down there, whatever it is that you are doing, whether you want to take part in national development or not, but then I think that every youth want to take part in national development. So you might not be like Omar, but then you can turn out to be like me. Yeah. Just be talking. At the end of the day, that is what we can do. So until we come your way next week, inshallah, with another you doing extremely well in national development, is a bye from us. Ciao.